What up, YouTube legs? Coming back at you with another Custom StarCraft 2 cast. Today, we have one featuring the Custom Scion Races Mod. If you're a returning viewer to my channel, you'll recognize this mod. I used to cast it almost exclusively, and I'm trying to get back into casting more of it moving forward. If you're a new viewer to my channel, well, this mod introduces 3 new playable races to the StarCraft universe. It's a super sick mod, and if you couldn't already tell, they are unique. So, let's go ahead and introduce our players. Spawning on the bottom left-hand side of the map, it's our orange Keiron player, Quoror. Now, the Keiron, they are a mix of, in my opinion, what are like the Protoss and the Zerg, so I'll get more into that in a moment. Going up against his opponent, spawning on the top right-hand side of the map, it's our blue Genetron player, Cognite. So, the Genetron, they may look like the Terran, but they kind of play more like the Protoss, at least where their building is concerned, where the macro is concerned. So, these buildings are being 3D printed. It's a lot like the warp-in mechanic for the Protoss. Now, the Keiron, they are interesting. So, we have our tech structures here, right? So we have the edifice, which is basically the gateway. This is tier 1 tech for the Keiron, but all their production comes from the Citadel, which is their main mining structure. So they warp them in like the Protoss, but they have about a pylon's worth of distance where they warp in their units, and they all warp in at the same exact rate. So we have the Pariah, which is kind of like a mix between a Zealot and an Adept. We have the Volt, which is, I guess it's analogous to the Marine. It shoots up and down. It's a tier 1 unit, so it's really interesting. All these races have so much character. It is so cool. So I'm really excited to see how this game is going to go. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I cast this kind of stuff all the time. Right now, I'm out of town, so I'm casting on like a mini gaming PC setup. I have a PC that's the size of a lunchbox, and I have a monitor that's the size of a notebook. So it's a vibe. It's a vibe for sure. So we'll see how it goes. We have what is an attempted kind of poke here at the natural base location. Both players are expanding, so no proxy situation going on. This doesn't necessarily rule out any sort of 2-base all-ins, but we are only 4 minutes and 30 seconds into this game. We have the Spitfires as well. So the Spitfire, it only shoots down. It's the Marine basically for the Genetron, but like I said, it only shoots down. We have this kind of like car sort of design on it, and it comes from the manufacturer. So the manufacturer is really cool. You can actually see what's being built from here. So fixers are also being built from here. Now, the Fixer is like a mix between a medevac and some sort of assault unit. It shoots up and down. I believe it shoots up. I know for a fact it shoots down. I haven't cast this mod in so long, but the Fixer, it's one of my favorite units. The fact that it can attack and heal at the same time is actually outrageous. We have a 3rd base coming down for the orange Keiron player as well, if you can see it on the mini-map, and a bit of an engagement in the middle right here. We'll see who comes out ahead. I want to say it's going to be the Keiron. We have so many Volts, but the Volt's actually getting pushed away. These Fixers doing so much damage and forcing the Keiron back. We have a new unit here as well, the Cataract, which I did look it up, and I think this is an anti-air support unit, so it's interesting that we see it. Maybe it's to attack these processors. So the processors, which are these flying units right here, they're like an uncloaked super speed observer. They are so cool. They have detection, and they are so good for scouting. It actually causes me so much physical pain when I see one in my base. I almost rage quit right there. It's actually hilarious how good they are for scouting, man. Especially so early on in the game. The Pulsar, so we see the Pulsar right here for the Keiron as well. This is like a close range anti-ground unit, and it can shoot consistently as it moves, but I want to say it's got about this much range from where it's standing right now. So this crab-like thing can shoot from about this distance, and it can shoot consistently while it's walking, and it also has an ability that lets it absorb 70% of splash damage for about 2 seconds, I believe. A very, very cool unit. And by the way, it looks like the 3rd base was forced to cancel for the Keiron as well for Quoror, and behind that, I love this Cognite going for a 3rd base of his own. Let's look at the worker supply. 42 worker supply to 51 in favor for our blue Genetron player. Army supply also almost double in favor for our blue Genetron player. So 40 army supply to 22. If Cognite pushed out now, he could probably straight up win. But keep in mind that we do have a kind of pseudo warp-in mechanic for the Keiron. It's not necessarily a pseudo warp-in mechanic. It's just a different warp-in mechanic. And man, I love the design on that cataract. You can't see it now. Of course, it hides behind a bush. Just as I'm about to point it out, I guess it's camera shy. Oh, here we go. Here we have, yeah, look at this. It's like a mechanical bio unit. Very, very cool. Now, taking a look at what other tech we see, we also have the Empyrean, which I believe allows you to build the Harbinger. We'll see if we see those anytime soon. And the Oculus is a super cool structure. So this is like a permanent scouting structure. You have about, I want to say, half a map's worth of distance where you can just activate this thing, and it gives you like a scan's worth of radius of vision somewhere on the map. Right now it's not activated. When it is activated, you can kind of see it glowing. Very, very cool structure. I love it for scouting. And here we go. We've got the Harbingers. Look at this warping animation. Super, super cool. Shout out to Solstice, the guy who made this mod. You really outdid yourself. I mean, I said it in the past for sure. It's not like this is a new mod to me, but every time I see it, it just blows my mind, man. We have a 4th base coming down for Cognite as well, taking advantage of these golden minerals. These golden minerals are totally empty, and we have what is going to be an attack coming from our orange Keiron player, Cognite, moving in to intercept this, though, I think by accident. I don't know if he spotted this army. Oh, a big warpin with these pariahs. So I think I forgot to mention the pariah has like a short range shade ability, and they're melee only. So they're really good at engaging armies or disengaging armies. They are very cool. These blitzers, though, they do shoot up and down, getting forced back. More blitzers from the top of this engagement, though. Quoror doing so much damage, but the blitzers with their, oh, is that overdrive? Yeah, the overdrive ability, allowing them to engage this army. It boosts their speed by, I think, 40% for about 4 seconds. Unless I'm wrong about that. Let me know down in the comments. I don't actually remember how long overdrive lasts. We also have supercharge, which makes them do like 200 and something % damage on their next attack. It's actually insane. And the mole is really cool. This is like, it could be like a sensor tower, and it can also be like a siege tank. Unfortunately, that mole will go down. We have a really interesting engagement here. Good use of the rocks by Quoror, keeping his army alive and actually forcing Cognite to move his army around and retreat just a little bit. Now, these processors are recharging the blitzers just a little bit. Now, I will point it out after this engagement, if I can find it. There is shared energy. Oh, right here. Yeah, this blue bar. This is shared energy between all the Genetron units. So all the Genetron units kind of have a shared bank of resources where energy is concerned. And if you're out of energy, well, you can't use actual energy abilities, energy-based abilities for your units. Now, what we saw right there, this is the Oculus. So this is just permanent map vision. It's actually insane, and it is from this structure right here. As we can see, the Oculus is now glowing. Such a cool mechanic, man. So unique. I just love all the mechanics in this mod. It adds so much life to StarCraft 2. It's so crazy. We don't see it here. This converter, this worker is kind of eating this citadel, but what you can do. Oh, and here we can see it actually. They can build from kind of a distance, but they have to build stuff consistently, a lot more like the Protoss. So it's like an in-between of how the Terran operate and how the Protoss operate. We got the Stratus. This is anti-air static defense for the Keiron. The Nullifier, anti-ground static defense for the Keiron. And excuse me, we also have what is an engagement. I've spent so much time trying to describe what these races do. So we have what are the Harbingers doing a lot of damage. How many workers went down, actually? Only 5 workers killed by the orange player and 0 workers killed by the blue player. That's actually insane. Now, keep in mind, I am casting on a lunchbox computer, so if you see some, like, frame rate drops, that is my PC. It's been doing pretty good with, like, vanilla StarCraft, but modded StarCraft, maybe it's not doing as well. I'm already noticing some frame drops. So, taking a look at the army supply, 79 army supply to 94 in favor for our blue Genetron player. Oh man, a big engagement right here. I really think this is maybe in favor for the Genetron player, but the surround by Quoror with the air on the back of this is super cool, actually forcing Cognite to retreat, I think. Army supply still in favor, though. 52 army supply to 86 in favor for our Genetron player. We have 1-1 upgrades for both players right now. Base number 4 is all set up. We have just 3 workers short of being fully saturated. Or actually, no, this is base number 3, I think. And here we go, base number 4. Both of them relatively evenly saturated, though. Taking a look at the workers killed, still only 5 workers killed by our orange player, and that's it. But this is going to be brutal if these Harbingers decide to do something about what is this greedy base for the Genetron player. These workers being forced on the retreat. We have what is also the Blitzers coming to try and engage these Harbingers, but the Harbingers being able to just fly around, really able to keep themselves alive and away from the main army. This Interdictor trying to do some damage. These ACRs doing such a good job at keeping this thing alive, but so many workers going down, and behind this we have what is going to be an almost kind of base racy situation in response from our blue Genetron player, and we have the Myriads as well. The Myriads are like a grounded carrier, but they only hold 3 kind of interceptor equivalents, so they are very cool. Very interesting unit. I love their design, that kind of like bug, like that beetle design. Very, very sick. And we have this cloaking field coming down from the Tesla, so the Tesla's like a support unit for the Genetron. There's so much I want to talk about, but there's so much going on. This is such a crazy engagement. Who's coming out ahead is the question. Taking a look at the resources lost, it's almost identical. Upgrades also very, actually no, 2-2 for the Genetron and 1-1 for the Keiron. So upgrades in favor for our blue player. Oh man, we have the Inducers going down. The Inducer, a very cool unit. If we see more of them, I'll describe what they do shortly. Some frame drops here and there, but nothing too crazy with this Lunchbox PC that I'm casting on. I'm doing my best, you guys. I'm doing my best. I have my graphics optimized just enough to make it look castable, but not like a game from 1999. I can say that much, at least. These fixers doing their damnedest to keep this army alive. They're like, I got you, homie. I got you, bro. We can keep ourselves alive at the face of this army, and now it's looking like the army supply is in favor for our orange Keiron player. 73 army supply to 53 in favor for Quoror. These fixers, though, these heroes, they're like, we got you, homies, we got you. And that animation is just so, so cool. We have what is kind of a standoff right here. Both players taking a breather. They're like, okay, that was a bit of a workout. And now we're back. We have the supercharge ability right here, which will, see, as you can see right here, the supercharge, this means that their next attack is going to do like 200, I think it was like 270% more damage on the next hit. It's actually insane. So right there, just super, super intense damage. We also have, where are they? The Umbras, right? Where is it? Oh my god, I can't click it. Well, this, okay, there it is, the Umbra. So the Umbra is like this kind of like, it's like, it's using the Baneling animation, and it's really cool. It's cloaked while it's moving. So it's really, really intense for like run-bys on mineral lines. That's not what we're seeing used for right now, but they are super cool. So it's that kind of like little ball right here, the Umbra. Very, very interesting unit. Looks like this processing core will go down. Army supplies now almost even, 68 army supply to 66. So both players relatively even. What is this? Oh, a Luna Mine. I don't recognize this. This must be a new either unit or spell that I'm not familiar with for the Genetron. There were some patches since the last time I cast this. Oh man, looks like finally the Keiron forced to retreat just a little bit. And here we go, we have the Inducer. So the Inducer's really interesting. It shoots this energy ball, and the farther away you are, the longer it takes to do DPS. It's a really interesting unit. And we have what is a shield on it as well. Oh man, such a cool mechanic. And what is this? The Electron. So the Elytron. I don't know how to say it. The Elytron. It comes from the Myriad. So it's basically the interceptor for the Keiron as well. Taking a look at what the Genetron's up to. I feel like we've been just looking at the middle of the map for so long. We've got what are Blitzers, Fixers, and what is this? We have the Torrent as well, which is anti-air for the Genetron. Army supply 68 to 105 in favor for Cognite. So Cognite making a comeback just a little bit. We have the Fabricator, which is like the factory equivalent for the Genetron, and taking a look at the worker supply, it's actually in favor for Quoror. 83 worker supply to 50. How many workers went down? 34 workers actually killed by our orange Keiron player, and we have what is a move out at the bottom of the map, way out of position for Cognite. Actually, Cognite trying to do something about this, but I think this processing core will go down. No, the ACR is able to repair it. Quoror seeing the blue Genetron army and deciding to run away, and I'm really curious what these Lunamines do. I'll have to look that up later for my next cast. But this is looking like a really scary army. As I said, Cognite is ahead in army supply, now 120 army supply to 84. Man, the Lunamine, it looks so cool too. It almost looks like the underwater mines, except I'm pretty sure, obviously it's flying, but they look like they look like landmines for submarines or whatever. So sick. This is a really interesting army spread though. This army composition, we have a little bit of everything, and we have a little bit of everything. I feel like for the Genetron as well. This is just such a scary looking army for both sides, to be honest, but it looks like the Genetron's kind of eating through the Keiron right now, forcing Quoror to retreat. Oh man, wild. So, looks like base number 3 will be in danger. We have a lot of production, not production, but a lot of tech here as well. It's kind of like in between tech and production, because each of these buildings for the Keiron has like a charge, and then as you can see, it's like loading up. So once this is loaded up, you have like an available warp in. It's a really interesting mechanic. But these edifices going down, the nullifiers going down, the Tesla throwing down its cloaking charge right here. That is super sick. The inducer's trying to do some damage, but it's 3 inducers to what is a 102 army supply Genetron player. Now we have 13 army supply for the Keiron. This is not looking good for Quoror. What a non-stop action-packed game. Quoror throwing out the GG. But not leaving the game. I guess he wants to see the victory for Cognite, but ultimately giving Cognite the win. What a sick Custom Scion Races game. If you enjoyed what you saw, please consider shooting me a like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want me to cast any of your own games, I will leave my email and Discord in the description below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.